the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bond and AJ Applegarth.
Touchdown! All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, co-host AJ Applegarth. What's up, man?
What's happening? Just getting lots of sports going on tonight. Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, I've been so distracted. I actually forgot about the Tech game. So nobody spoil it live. I'm catching up. I'm about halfway through the second quarter, maybe not even at this point. So don't say anything, please. But yeah, so we are here tonight to talk some Week 7 fantasy football. To get you ready, we're going to go through the normal start-sit scenarios. We'll talk about our observations from the past week, just things that we've noticed throughout the season that we think are interesting to help you out with your fantasy teams. But of course, while you're here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, leave those comments, 5-star reviews, whatever it is. We appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. And of course, jump over to FantasySixPack.net. You're going to get access to our award-winning rankings, our DFS cheat sheet, our DFS projections, weekly projections, a lot of the betting stuff from the Parlay Fantasy guys. They have a show over here on the Fantasy Six-Pack YouTube as well. Use promo code F6P NFL 24 to save 15%. Yeah. So without further ado, though, let's bring in a guest that we have this week, and it is Mr. Mark Shanip.
Yes, sir.
Host of the Fantasy Knockout podcast. Another top 10 ranker from last season and hanging in there this year again. So was happy to get you.
Got a bone to pick with you, Joe. I mean, you knocked me out of my number 2 spot. I'm down at 5 now. I feel like a peasant.
It's all right. In another week, if I'm still number 2, I'll be number 3, and you'll be number 6, because we all know who's going to eventually jump up to number 1. It's Mr. Sean Kerner.
Oh, I know, right?
The dude's a beast. He's just slowly like creeping up, and I'm like, I've been ahead of him for 6 weeks. Like, how much longer is this going to last?
Yeah, you just know it's coming.
Yeah, the dude, he's a machine, man. It's unreal what he does. So, yeah, man, glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So, I think first thing that we want to do tonight is we want to talk about some of these trades that went down this week. This wasn't expected to be talked about, but you know, when these kind of things happen, you've got to adjust and get through this big news. So we'll start with the Davante Adams trade here. And Mark, I'll let you go first.
This one kind of stings a little bit just because I am a Raiders fan. So seeing him leave, it's not fun. I had Adams probably like rest of season rankings around wide receiver 15-ish. That was when he was with the Raiders. I think he gets a little uptick. Maybe he could be up to wide receiver 12 rest of the season kind of a thing. You know, I mean, him and Adams, the connection's going to be there. He's going to do well. They're probably going to force feed him to start like this week and next week. Mm-hmm. But his upside's there. I know Garrett Wilson's taken the biggest hit. You know, I look at Wilson now as like a Devontae Smith, Waddle when Tua's healthy. You know what I mean? Wilson's not this alpha no more. He was living off of a bunch of targets and, you know, being a target hog. So now he's got to up his efficiency. Adams has got to be efficient as well. So, I mean, if you have him, you're happy that Adams got traded because he improved his quarterback. But again, he's not just going to be this top tier wide receiver that he's been in the past when at Green Bay and stuff. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree. It's also tough because I typically see wide receiver trades mid-season. They don't normally produce very well. You know, it could be a big name and it's still like, I mean, like the one, and it's funny that we'll be talking about him later. The one that really worked out mid-season for fantasy was Amari Cooper to Dallas.
Right.
And that was like, holy cow, like this actually worked. Most of them big moves like that mid-season, the receiver sort of struggles. They don't know the offense. They don't have the big thing, right, is they don't have the relationship with the quarterback. In this case, though, they have like the best relationship ever that I've ever witnessed between a quarterback and a receiver. Like Aaron Rodgers was throwing like no-look passes to the corner, like, hey, I just know you're going to be there. Like crazy stuff in Green Bay. But so I don't want to give it up to Nick, but at the same time, Adams has also never had this he's never had this good of a receiver on the other side. And I don't think they can ignore using Wilson. They can't make Wilson this like absolute number 2. I do see this as like a 1A, 1B, more like a Smith and AJ Brown factor. But so I still think Adams is like the number 1. But I think Wilson's still going to be good. It's just it does hurt for my unfortunate shares of Garrett Wilson. I had 2 good weeks.
Yeah, the last.
AJ, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head there with Wilson. I mean, you're looking at a guy who had 23 targets 2 weeks ago, caught 13 of them, and then last week, caught 8 of 10, touchdowns both games, like just huge fantasy games. And it hurts to see this, but I also think that this could be good for him. I don't think it's going to be he will take a hit, but I think that hit is going to be kind of more just off the bat here. Like you mentioned, Mark, I think they're going to try to feed him a lot early and often. And okay, that's great. Like they're going to rekindle their little, love fest and go. But if that maintains, people are going to have to start doubling up on Davante, and then who's going to be open? Wilson's going to be open. I mean, you can't ignore the guy. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this works. And then you still have, the forgotten love affair with Alan Lazard there too. So maybe he benefits a little bit more. Off the bat,
I'm out on him.
I don't know. I think this is. I feel like this was just coming regardless because the NFL is scripted apparently. So you gotta write the books that people want to read, and for football fans from the male side, I guess this is kind of like our Fabio Love Fest novels. And
did you see the? I know AJ. If you were paying attention to our Discord, I forget who posted it. Mike, actually, our producer, I think, is the one who posted it. The Twitter, like the video from what's his name show?
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee show, where all of a sudden, like they're talking to Rodgers, and then all of a sudden he just goes, "Hey, come here." Davante Adams walks in the background. He's like, "Hey!" It's like 6 hours later, he's in Aaron Rodgers' house. Like they knew this was coming.
Oh yeah.
And he wants to claim like he didn't find out till midnight the night before. Like there was no chance. Mike Williams dropped that pass, and he literally was like, "This dude's cut."
Yeah,
we're signing Davante Adams. Yeah. So, all right. So next up, man, AJ, we'll let you have this one first. Amari Cooper, just mentioned him, but this time he's going from the Browns to the Buffalo Bills. I mean, this felt like minutes. This felt like minutes later. It was like, we got.
It was. They're like, it's like the meme I put up or the GIF I put up of substitute teacher from Key and Peele, son of a bitch, because Buffalo is just doing that. Like, stupid Jets, we just beat you, and now you go and do something like this. Now, all right, what's our move? Mari, come here. Like, you don't need to be in Cleveland anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy. Like how I almost didn't even realize that this happened. I'm just looking on my one team where I have him, uh, and it was like, wait, why? What? This is
Dude, I have a
He's on
team.
the
I
same team
literally
as Keon Coleman. Why are they playing the same people? Like I
I
just
have a
totally
team
glossed
with
over it.
Wilson and Cooper. So I'm like bad and then kind of good. I still don't know if I trust Cooper because like
Yeah,
it's just going to be a weird scenario. But I mean, it can only make him slightly better at least. Like it can't be
yeah,
any worse, right?
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I slotted him in to the one spot right away in the fantasy 6-pack receiver depth chart, and I did put Adams at wide receiver 2 right now because he was questionable when I was doing the updates earlier today. I don't know if that's changed since practice today or
What's up,
not,
Jamie?
but what's up, Jamie? But I'm sure, like I said, it'll be a couple of weeks before he he slides over to 1 too. But hey, Cleveland rocks, Jamie. You see that? You see that Indians come back? That was awesome.
If they can beat the Yankees, I will be very happy.
Oh, I would be stoked.
I think everybody not in New York wants Cleveland to win.
Yeah,
Just
basically.
no offense, you're wearing a Dodgers hat, Mark.
Yeah. Born and
For
raised
the
in
love
Southern
of God, please do not let it be a Dodgers Yankees series. Like the MLB will get absolutely what they want, but I
Oh
would
yeah, you're talking scripted
dread
again,
it
right?
as a fan.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
my
it was.
goodness.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
listening to something today, and they're like, everybody wants this. It's Shoei and Aaron Judge, the two
Yeah.
biggest names, internationally. It's like, all right, let's calm it down. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this receiver.
Back to football.
Yes.
We're
Yeah, I
having
mean, for me,
Bob Harris yell at us.
I don't mind the Cooper trade. Obviously, his quarterback's a huge upgrade. You know what I mean? So it's not the frustration. I actually have Adams and Cooper on one of my redraft teams. And like when I first heard the news, I was kind of like, okay, I'm excited. But then I'm like, yeah, like Joe was saying, not much is going to change. Your confidence in them, it's about the same. You know, I mean, I guess of the two, I'm a little more excited for Cooper just because I mean, I know there's still Coleman and Kincaid, but he's the alpha. Are they gonna treat him like they did Diggs? You know what I mean? And Cooper can be a diva himself.
Yeah.
Where, if he's not feeling the love, he could just quit on the team too. So I mean, this could backfire from them as well. So it's like I got him at that borderline wide receiver 2, kind of in that wide receiver 3 range going forward.
Me too.
Honestly, I'm hoping that him and Adams, they like get hyper targeted, like I said, like these first couple weeks, and then I'm looking to trade them. You know what I mean? I'm looking to capitalize them. If like the one league I have, I got both of them. I'd be looking to pair both of them, trying to go get a high end wide receiver 1 or a low end wide receiver 1. You know what I mean? Like a Drake London or something like that.
Ooh, good luck.
I know it's gonna be hard, but
I'm not
if they can go off, maybe the names. Maybe you can find someone that's struggling that is 1-5 or 1-6 going.
Do you go after like the Tyreek and hope that Tua comes back?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a tough. That'd be a tough buy, but I think it could really work out in your favor if you want to take that chance. But yeah, it's interesting. Again, like you guys have said, it can't be worse. But I'm right with you, Mark. Like I think going forward, Cooper is low end wide receiver 2 at this point. Like, when you don't have that, that putting in that work with your quarterback, the only thing he's really got going for him is they don't have a very good receiver on that team right now. And so he's gotta be the guy at this point. I mean, even Kincaid has really disappointed.
Yeah.
Shakir's been okay, mainly just because of what you paid for him. He was dirt cheap and you were like, oh, cool. I'm getting some decent weeks out of him. Yeah. But now he's sort of like, I mean, I cut him. He was on my IR in one league and he got activated and I'm like,
that's the right move.
I don't need it anymore now. So
yeah, I cut ties with, I know it's not really trade news, but I cut ties with Shaheed in multiple places because
done for the
I
year.
mean, he's on the IR. He's done for the year now. And it's like, I needed to pick people up. and I was super excited for the Bub Means SZN, and that was not panning out too well right now. But
glad I didn't actually get him in any of my leagues.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be okay. I just think it's Denver's a tough matchup.
It is, and he's dealing with the rookie quarterback. Yeah. But I think real quick, Cam Akers doesn't really do anything for me. He's a backup at this point.
I think it was just a depth move. You know what I mean?
I think it was too.
Aaron Jones might not be ready. It's just Chandler, and so they're like, he was on the team last year. I think that's all it is. It's just depth. Yeah. Fantasy, it doesn't move any needles at all for me.
Absolutely not.
No.
I have a question here. How do y'all feel about Singletary? Is he like officially active? Do we know yet? I don't.
He did come. No, I take that back. I think he was.
I don't think it's been like announced yet. So I don't know.
Well, no. Davis is Buffalo. I think he is still questionable.
Right, limited practice. So we're gonna have to wait until tomorrow. And possibly even Saturday to kind of see what his status is. I mean, I think if he starts, depending on other options, I think he's a good like flex-ish type play. I do think Tracy's going to be involved at this point. He's just shown too much. He's outperformed Singletary in his two starts. So there you go. All right, man. So we're going to jump into our start-sit rankings talk here. Mike LaPlante, voice from the sky. You got the floor, man.
All right, I kind of gave you guys some easy ones.
What did you just do?
Did you mute yourself?
Amateur hour here. There we go.
Sorry, I was fixing your thing. I gave you some freebies here for the QBs, and after that, it's going to get real hard. So, Joe, you get to start us off. You got Drake Maye against the Jaguars or Patrick Mahomes versus the Niners. Who you starting? Who you sitting?
I mean, I'm not starting a rookie quarterback over Pat Mahomes. I know Pat Mahomes hasn't been Pat Mahomes for fantasy, but there's no way. Sorry, it doesn't even matter at this point. I know I haven't changed the slide yet. I realized I forgot.
Through 1 week, Drake Maye has a better.
I've realized it. Mahomes. It ain't gonna happen. I know he's getting to Jacksonville, in London. Pat Mahomes gets San Fran. That's a game that the Chiefs are going to get up for. Let's be real. And so I could see him actually doing pretty well. Drake Maye, he did okay, but he didn't get 3 touchdowns. We're talking about a pretty mediocre day for him. That's going to be hard to get another 3 touchdowns. We're going to get some turnovers. It's going to be above over 200 yards, but if he doesn't get multiple touchdowns like he did last week, we're not talking about Drake Maye in this conversation at all.
Can you tell me the last week Patrick Mahomes had multiple touchdowns?
Probably
exactly.
Super Bowl.
I'm just giving you crap. All right.
I know. Are
AJ,
you starting Drake Maye over Patrick Mahomes? Let's be real.
I don't have this decision, but I thought it was interesting when I put it together. AJ, what do you got?
To answer your question, the last time Pat Mahomes had multiple touchdowns was week 3 against Atlanta. The last time before that, week 2. But those are the only 2 games this season so far. Obviously they've only played 5, but it's a fair point because he has been very un-Mahomes-like. He's lost, he lost Hollywood Brown before he even stepped on the field for him. Then he loses Pacheco. Now he loses Rice. This team is just in shambles, but this team also kind of sucked last year. Not this badly, I feel like, but they were off last year, and then they figured it out. They clicked. Rice obviously picked up, and they won the Super Bowl. So this is the Super Bowl rematch game that the NFL obviously scripted in for week whatever we're in 7. So last year when they did that and had the Eagles play in Kansas City, didn't turn out so well for Kansas City. And then after that, it didn't turn out well for the Eagles. But San Fran is also down. They obviously don't have CMC and haven't had him for pretty much all season. So, it's like the fanfare behind this game isn't as big. And then you've got Drake Maye going into foggy London town and playing against one of the worst teams in the league. So I like his upside, but I think I still got to go Mahomes. So
I'm right there with you. I'm going to go Mahomes over Drake, but how about one better? What about Kyler Murray? Drake Maye over Kyler Murray. So I have that decision to make myself, and I'm actually going to go Drake Maye because Kyler against the Chargers Monday night with no Harrison, that kind of scares me. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with the massive upside with
practiced. Harrison practiced. Keep an eye on that.
I'm assuming he's gonna be out, and I could be wrong, but like the window for him to come back would be literally that Monday would be the first day if he's got no symptoms, and if he's in, then obviously that's going to help boost Kyler. But if no Harrison, I'm gonna try that 3. I'm hoping that Drake Maye can have that magic. I'm hoping he can run a little bit. He's got a nice floor. He'll probably get 30 to 40 yards rushing. So that's a nice little extra padded stat too. So if he only throws 2 touchdowns, 250 yards, you're kind of happy with that.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing,
Scampers, I know the answer to this. I have a feeling, Mark, you're smiling. I think you know it too. AJ, do you know the answer to this? When was the last time Pat Mahomes finished in the top 10 for quarterbacks?
Like the last week?
Last year? Sometime last year.
When was the last time?
That he finished in the top 10 as a weekly score?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be last year.
Mark, do you know the answer?
How did they play?
I couldn't tell you
Buffalo?
which week. It was probably like week 8, week 9, something like that last
Close.
That is close.
Was
AJ?
it the Buffalo game?
No. It was week 12.
Divisional
year. Yeah.
against the Raiders.
Oh,
Vegas.
right. Yeah, Raiders. All right.
Wait, was that the one that they lost? Because I think AOC, Aiden O'Connell's the only.
They ended up winning that game.
They did? Okay.
I pulled the box score. Yeah,
Week
31-17. They lost the game in week 16. It looks like.
That's right.
God, that was
And the last quarterback to beat Pat Mahomes was Aiden O'Connell, by the way.
No, weeks.
Of course.
It wasn't week 16. Week 16 is the one they lost.
Yeah. Oh, Scammers, I did not hear this. Juju popped a hamstring injury today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did just see that actually.
No.
I forgot that. Because I did the charts and then I went and I set lineups tonight and I just picked up Juju and I was like, oh, what the hell? Now he's questionable. So yeah,
that's brutal.
Not happy about that.
Oh, all right. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about Pat Mahomes or Drake Maye anymore.
The last thing I'll say on it is Jacksonville just got smoked by a rookie quarterback in London a week ago. So
who had 5
take it for what you will.
Under his belt.
True.
And a much better team around him.
All right, AJ, you get Kirk Cousins against the Seahawks or Jared Goff against the Vikings. Fight.
I don't like it, but I'm going to go Goff. Cousins pissed me off last week because I should have played Baker again, as I've been preaching now for the last week or two. And I didn't. Wasted a waiver claim on Cousins, and he did not perform against a very nice matchup. So because of that, I'm just rage benching him this week.
Rage benching him? At least you're not rage cutting him yet?
No, I'm not rage cutting him yet.
You're good at that.
I love doing that, especially when it's baseball and I pick up a pitcher and he's like in the third and get lit up. And it's like, drop. So, I think both of these games I feel like are going to be pretty good games. I think there's potential for higher scoring in both of them. But Minnesota's just been it's just been crazy, like what they've done so far this year. But I think Goff, we saw his perfect game of, whatever it was, 17 for 17 that he ended up being. So
18 of 18.
18 of 18. All right. Well, I'll give him 21 of 25 this week against Minnesota, and 2 touchdowns. Maybe throws a rushing one in there too.
All right, Mark.
I'm actually gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go Kirk Cousins. I don't have any share of either of these guys in any of my leagues this year. I just based off of matchup is where I'm going. I think Cousins against Seattle. I see that being more of a both teams are gonna be passing quite a bit. So I just think Cousins should fare better. Minnesota's defense is pretty good. I know you can pass on them, but I just give the edge to Cousins. I got him pretty close in my rankings, but I'll take the easy matchup on this one.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. Tiebreaker. I will go with Cousins. It's definitely matchup based.
Little nugget too. Geno Smith is second in passing attempts in the NFL. So yeah, that's a sneaky shootout game right there. That Falcons Seahawks game.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, out of the running backs, and Mark, you get to start us off here. It's a start 2, sit 1 situation. You get Josh Jacobs versus the Texans, which is a game I get to go to.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Nice.
James Cook versus the Titans, or J.K. Dobbins versus the Cardinals. Fight.
I mean, if I had all 3 of them, I'd be starting all 3 realistically. But in this scenario, the one I'm sitting is James Cook, just because of the injury a little bit. And it is Tennessee's defense who actually does stop the run fairly well. I like Dobbins' matchup. And Jacobs, I think, is due for this positive regression. Green Bay's just been throwing all their touchdowns. So I could see Jacobs probably getting a touchdown this week. So I'm going to go Jacobs and J.K. Dobbins.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I agree. I would try to figure out a way to get all 3 in there. But that's not the question.
Right.
Question is Dobbins, Jacobs, and Cook, and it's sick Cook for me. Dobbins is gonna get all the work, which just terrify me. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Edwards is out, but like, get Kamani Vidal a little bit more work, right? Don't get Dobbins hurt. Let's let him have a full season for once, right? Jacobs is getting all the work. They're not like Emmanuel Wilson sort of had a role there for like a couple of weeks, it felt like, and then now he just seems like he's going in the wrong direction.
Well, I think Lloyd's coming back too, right? Isn't he getting activated off the RAR this week or next week?
I think next week is the first week he can come back. He's not ready to return to practice yet. For me, I think I'm following suit here, and I'm going to sit Cook because, he did come off the injury report today, and actually Ray Davis went on it. So that was a strange twist there. But, I mean, Davis played really well in his place last week. I potentially could have grabbed him in my home league, but I didn't because I had the settings screwed up and he was on waivers. Somebody pointed it out to me and I'm like, no, I'm not going to just make the change and then go pick this guy up because I had Cook. So I lost by like a few points, which was really annoying. But yeah, Dobbins, I think he had 25 attempts last week, and that was the most I think he's ever had in a game. His 27 touches. That's what it was.
Yeah, Dobbins has never gotten over 20 attempts, I believe.
Yeah,
in a game in his career. So
yeah, so the stat that I heard was the 27 touches, but yeah, 25 of them were rushing attempts. That's for him, that's absurd. And he had a great week. I love the matchup, so I'm going to ride him again. yeah, I agree. Vidal needs to get a little more action in there and see what he can do just to kind of keep Dobbins on the field.
All right. Joe, this one's going to be a fun one. I know you're going to love this one. You get Kareem Hunt versus the Niners, Najee Harris versus the Jets, or Chase Brown versus the Browns.
Trying to find. Oh man, it's strangely enough, it's sit Najee. Tough matchup there. Jalen Warren's back. They could be swapping to Wilson, and I just don't know what that offense is going to look like with him in there. No thanks. I don't want it. Chase Brown's arrow is pointing way up, man. I want him in my lineups right now. He's looking like the far more explosive player in that Cincinnati backfield. I don't think Moss is going anywhere. I wrote about this in my usage article. I don't think they're going to phase Moss out completely or even like make it like a 70-30 split. I think it will at best go like 60-40 Chase's direction, but that's kind of all he needs, man. I did not expect this flip in that backfield to happen as quickly as we saw it, considering the massive workload usage in Moss's favor the first few weeks. It changed in a heartbeat. So,
all right, AJ.
Yeah, I matchup wise, I mean, I feel like the Jets are probably the best defense there. I mean, San Fran's D is still okay. You do have CEH coming back this week too, so maybe that cuts into Hunt's touches a little bit. And I believe Warren was still questionable coming into this week, but I think I'm going to sit Brown, honestly. I'm gonna ride Najee. I think that's going to be an interesting game. The Jets are obviously reeling after the tight game and lots of penalties from Monday, but I think Najee is going to get a healthy volume, and even with CEH back, I'm not overly worried about Hunt's overall volume. So I'm gonna ride with those two.
I'm gonna start Hunt and Brown. So I'd sit Najee. Honestly, right now I try to sell high on him. This is prime trade season, so he just finished a nice game against the Raiders. They made him look like a stud. If you could get something for him of equal value, I'd move off of him fairly quick, because I think Jalen Warren's going to start coming back and eating into his workload, and I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen this week. But I base my decision off of matchups. I like the other two matchups. I like, Cincy at Cleveland, and I like KC at San Francisco. And then another tiebreaker would be who's got the better quarterback to kind of facilitate the game. Well, that's going to be KC in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. We don't know what quarterback's really playing for Pittsburgh at the moment. We think it might be Russell Wilson, which I think provides a better ceiling, like NFL football wise, not necessarily fantasy wise, but for just pure football for the Steelers, because he just throws better than Fields does. So maybe he can open that up a little bit more with Pickens and stuff. But I struggle with Harris right now in this week. So I'm going to take if I take the loss and Harris has a good one, falls in the end zone 2 or 3 times, then, good for him. But I just don't have the stones to start Harris this week.
All right. We get to move on to my favorite part. The wide receivers, AJ. You get to start us off. You get Tyreek Hill against the Vikings. Amari Cooper versus Tennessee. Or Jameson Williams. It's not against the Vikings. I messed up Tyreek Hill. My bad.
I was going to say, didn't Jared Goff just go against the Vikings?
Man, my copy and paste habit is a bad habit. Don't follow me, guys.
Yeah.
Tyreek against Indy.
You know the drill. Fight, AJ.
Yes. God, can I have like 3 other receivers on my team?
No kidding. Like this sucks.
Start
It gets worse.
Yeah. Bub Means.
Yeah.
Save me, Bub Means.
Yeah. It's not working.
Yeah, it's not. Oh God. I'm gonna sit Tyreek again. Now you know what? I'm gonna sit Cooper. First week with the new team. I think he has the potential to get a decent amount of targets, but he's got a lot to learn up there. So I'm gonna leave Tyreek in. Not very happily.
This felt like the price is right. Like you made like a half. You almost made a decision, and me and Mark both go like, and then you said it, Amari, and you were like, we were both like this, and you were like, yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm pushing the button.
All right, Plink, you're going down right here. I think Cooper is the pick. I don't really like any of these guys, but if I have to be forced due to injury and or bye weeks, I'm going to go Williams against Minnesota and Tyreek against Indy.
What say you, Mark?
Oh my God.
So I'm going to be sitting Cooper. Again, I don't want to trust it week 1. I want to see it first before I really trust it. And if he goes off on my bench, I'm personally going to be okay with that. So, I mean, Tyreek, it's frustrating, with Tyreek with no Tua, but he's still got that chance to take one reception to the house every single time. Absolutely. And his floor is super low, but you got to take that upside, and hopefully he can find the end zone this week against Indy. And then Jamos, a similar player too, where he doesn't need volume. He just takes one big one to the house, and that could easily happen there. And then it's just the continuity with Cooper and Josh Allen. It's not there. I just have a hard time trusting that right from the beginning. So I want to see it first. And, if I miss out on some points this week, then I miss out on some points.
Ditto. I got nothing else. That's pretty much it. Save some time.
Yeah. All right. Next.
No. All right. Cop out, Joe.
I could repeat the exact same things again. You want to waste 2 minutes and do that?
No.
I'll add it to your rants.
Okay.
All right. Mark, you get our second one here. You got DeMario Douglas, the waiver wire darling, versus Jaguars. George Pickens versus Jets. Or Christian Kirk against the Patriots. Who you sitting? Who you starting?
So I think your viewers already kind of know I'm for New England this week. So my start is DeMario Douglas. I'm going to roll with him. He showed me enough this past week. I had him as a rookie last year and really enjoyed that last stretch of games with him. His nickname's Pop for a reason, man. I just like that matchup. I like what he can do. I trust that more than I do George Pickens. I'm going to be sitting the Steelers this week. It's a real close tie between Christian Kirk and George Pickens, but I just don't know the quarterback at the moment. And if I'm going to assume it's Russell Wilson, again, he hasn't practiced. He hasn't even played with Pickens yet. So that continuity is not there for me. And the Steelers they're not that high flying offense anymore, or they haven't been in a while. So I'm going to go Kirk, and hopefully that it's a shootout there over in London, regardless of the weather.
All right, Joe.
Man, this is legit like a toss-up. I've probably got all these guys separated by fractions of a point. It's super close, but Pickens is the one that right now I've got ahead of both, with the largest margin in between those two. I do have Kirk in front of Douglas. I don't like it. but that's what I've got right now. I mean, this could all easily change. Like if and when Wilson gets this, announced as the starter, projections for all the Steelers are going to change drastically. Some probably are already projecting that. Some aren't. So we'll see. I'm going to crunch a lot of numbers, look at a lot of sources and things like that and figure out what we got. But I mean, Mark, you're right. I mean, we're talking about, continuity with quarterbacks, between Amari and Josh Allen and that Wilson and Pickens haven't done anything. So that's true there. I mean, but Kirk's also just been awful. Even his good weeks really haven't been that good. So, I mean, you look at the ECR for all these guys on the screen here, none of them are really that good. We're talking pretty, some of them are even outside the flex range. This isn't a good group of guys. Like, I hope you have better choices, unfortunately.
Yeah, this one, man, this. I don't know if this one's rougher than the last one. I feel like it probably is, but we talk about the continuity here, and DeMario Douglas had a really nice week last week with Drake Maye in his first game. Mimicked the week 5 game he had with Brissett as far as receptions and targets. The yardage was much better, and obviously had the touchdown last week too. So he's trending up. I am going to start Douglas this week against a weak Jags team. Between the other two, I mean, it's kind of it still is a toss-up because you look at Kirk's last couple of games, 7 targets or 7 receptions on 10 targets. But, averaging, minimal yards, like still around like 50-ish yards. Pickens averaging even less yards and only 6 receptions on 15 targets. So his target share is obviously higher there, but we really just don't know what we're getting with Wilson. So I think I'm going to lean Kirk here as well.
I will say this.
Close.
I do all mine based off half PPR because Mark, the contest does
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Okay. If this were PPR, I'm easily going Douglas. I think just that pure volume that he's going to see there pushes him over Kirk quite a bit. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So next one here, Joe. This is the fun one. This is just straight dirty.
Is it fun?
Yeah, this is just dirty right here. You get to choose between Calvin Ridley against the Bills, Jerry Jeudy, who's now the wide receiver 1 against the Bengals, or Christian Watson against the Texans. Who you want?
I mean, my answer here is never Calvin Ridley. Let's put it that way. Like, you can't use him anywhere. He's on my dynasty roster, which is not very good. It's in rebuild mode. He can't crack the starting lineup. He's dead to me, and I can't trade him because his value is rock bottom. Nobody wants him. It's an absolute horrible situation. Calvin Ridley has done next to nothing for a couple of seasons now. So I don't like the other guys either. I mean, you're talking ECR is even worse. Where do you get these questions from?
All right. They're self-made.
Oh, man. Is this me now?
Yes.
Getting asked about like Josh Downs and like something.
Oh, give me Josh Downs, please. Throw down.
So you couldn't. No, not with this group. I mean, you could add.
Tell you what, I'll start
like
Josh Downs.
With Josh Downs and like Tank Dell. Let's pick those 3. Screw this question.
If I'm in a league where I have these 3 and Josh Downs, and I can only play 2 receivers, I'm playing Josh Downs and leaving an open roster spot. This is just
Well, no, if you're going to leave an open rush spot, just put Calvin Ridley in there because he's going to put up 0 points.
Exactly. True.
Oh,
Did you guys see the tweet that it was like I forget who posted it, but it was like, here's Calvin Ridley's targets from last week, and it's like 3 throws that he's not even in the screen, and it's going right to defenders who drop them. One of them did get a pick, I think, but that might have been like one of the numerous double or triple team throws that he made. And then the other ones are like worm burners that are at his feet. And it was horrific. I laughed. I was just like, wow, this is bad. This is why I'm super happy I don't have Calvin Ridley at all this year. I do have Watson in a couple spots. I actually don't have Jeudy anywhere either, but this is scraping the bottom of the beer can looking for any kind of alcohol left in it and not finding it.
This is you woke up in the morning hungover and I just love it.
Yeah. This is you woke up Sunday for like the afternoon games, realizing these were all 1 o'clock games and they're already locked in, and you're like, oh shit.
You hung over from the weekend before and you left them in your lineup?
Yeah, you're hoping that it's Jeudy and Watson. And Watson's questionable again. Who knows if he's going to play. But yeah, Ridley's just... He's not even hot garbage. He's like tepid garbage. Just can't. I can't do it.
I don't know. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we've spent way too much time on this question.
Shit, Ridley. Will Levis is trash. You just can't trust him.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a trade question here. Tobias, I have a trade for Gibbs on the line. Should I give up London or Godwin with Chase Brown to get Gibbs?
So he's given up London or Godwin and Brown for Gibbs?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do that at all.
I'd probably just sit.
Yeah, I don't think I make that move. I mean, Gibbs is good. I like him. But they just re-signed Montgomery to that contract. They obviously like him, and he's crushing it right now. So, and London and Godwin are awesome. Brown's arrows going up. I don't make the move.
No, I don't think I would either. If you're giving up,
maybe
one of the receivers straight up, but I wouldn't throw Brown in there.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you must have gone like super zero RB, and Brown was probably, if you did that, Brown might have been your RB1.
Yeah.
I just, I'm guessing you're probably loaded with receivers, and so you can give some up, but that's just not a good trade.
Yeah.
So if you have to do it, I have St. Brown, Cup, Addison, so London and Godwin. Okay. So yeah, you got a lot of dudes. I still probably hold because Addison's not amazing. Cup maybe coming back, but
I think you could sell high on
three plays later. He could be hurt again.
Maybe sell high on Addison and Brown and try that, but I don't think that gets it done.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
Kenneth Walker and Etienne. So you have Kenneth Walker and Chase Brown. Because Etienne's not a thing anymore. Oh my goodness, how the mighty have fallen. I don't. You have a lot of receiver depth. I just think there's a better move out there. I don't think you have to give up Chase Brown to get Gibbs out of those two guys. I really don't.
No.
I think that's too much. But man, I don't do it. But if you have to, it's Godwin, because I still think Evans is too much of a factor there. We know London's the dude, and he's just getting it done. So if you have to do it and you really are set on doing it, it's Godwin and Brown. But I don't pull the trigger regardless. So, all right, moving on.
All right, AJ, you get our tight ends. You want Kyle Pitts versus the Seahawks or Tucker Kraft versus the Texans? Fight.
I'm going to go with Pitts on this one. Like I said earlier, I feel like this game could turn into being somewhat of a shootout. Pitts has been kind of up and down, not surprisingly, I guess. Well, sort of surprisingly because Arthur Smith's not there, but yeah, I mean Kraft's a nice story. He's got one really big blow up game, and then that's about it. And I will say I bought him on that game, but yeah, I think this is Pitts. Kraft's also questionable right now with this groin issue, so limited practice today. I'm sorry, two big games, and then back to mediocrity last week. So if he's healthy, he might be better off for you, but I'm still going with Pitts.
How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I agree with AJ. Kyle Pitts for me. Honestly, I'd be happy if I had either one on my team, because you got top 10 tight end right now. But the matchup is going to be the Atlanta-Seattle game. And then there's going to be too many other mouths to feed there with Green Bay. You know what I mean? Is it Jordan Reed or Jaden Reed, or is it Dobbs? Is it Watson? Is Jacobs going to rush one in? You know what I mean? So you're kind of taking a crapshoot with Kraft. But I do like Kraft going forward. But this week, between the two, it's Pitts for me.
Clean sweep. Give me Pitts. Kraft with all those other receivers healthy just isn't going to get enough work. Pitts isn't getting a lot either, but I'll take Pitts in the matchup, and that's pretty much a wrap.
All right, on to the flex question. Mark, do you want to start Nick Chubb fresh off the injury with a limited workload against the Bengals, or Tyler Lockett against the Falcons?
Now, you saw me shaking my head. And I am a huge Nick Chubb fan. I am rooting for this kid to come back and come back from all these odds and have a decent season. I love this guy coming out of college for Georgia stuff. I can't trust it. Just that injury was so brutal. I can't trust him week one in your lineup. Again, I got to see it first. It's like Amari Cooper. I want to see that. I want to see him playing first. Plus, the matchup isn't all that great to begin with anyways. So give me Lockett. Hopefully he can he'd be a solid flex for me this week. I got him like wide receiver in the 30s or something like that. So the matchup is just better with Lockett. And especially if you're in any kind of half PPR or full PPR, give me Lockett because Chubb doesn't catch much in the passing game at all either.
Joe?
Yeah, I agree. I'm wait and see with Nick Chubb right now.
AJ?
Yeah, I'm right there as well. I mean, Ford's been good in his steed. I know he's kind of dealing with some injury stuff right now too. But I mean, Cleveland, this team is just abysmal right now. The only thing they have going for them is their defense, and Nick Chubb doesn't play defense, so I don't see him excelling on that side of the ball. I want to see him be able to run and cut and be able to make plays like we've seen him do before, pre-injury. So I'm kind of wait and see on that.
Plus, I mean, how much of a workload are you expecting with Nick Chubb right off the bat?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to get 100% of the carries. I'm at best 50%. You know what I mean? And that's just not enough to trust in your flex option. There's got to be way better options out there, even on the waiver wire, to throw in there over Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Agreed. Maybe like Bub Beans. Sorry, AJ, just poking.
Yep.
Yep.
That is something.
All right. So that's what we got for week 7 of the Start Sit. Hopefully we helped you out. Next, we are going to be covering some of our observations, our trends that we've been noticing throughout the season from last week, whatever it is. First, though, we do have a question from Andrew here. A little bit of a long one, so just hold on here. Do I start Kareem Hunt, T. Higgins, or Tyreek Hill at flex? And then he goes into his receivers are Amon-Ra, Reed, Higgins, Tyreek. So I'm guessing he started Amon-Ra, Reed, and Higgins. That's fine. Running backs are Kyron, Cook, Kareem, Tracy, and Bucky. So he's probably starting Kyron and Cook. I don't think I even do that. I think we talked about that one. For me, it's Kyron and Kareem Hunt. Man, I don't know. This is a tough one for me. Like, there's a lot of decent options here. I mean,
so I'm assuming it's what, like one flex, right? Like
I would think,
two each and one flex probably.
Yeah.
So then Amon-Ra and Reed are, for me, they're auto locks. They're in there, and I'm gonna go Kyron and Hunt, and then I'd probably go Higgins in the flex.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He's saying
that Higgins was one of his. Yeah, it's easily Higgins for me. It's easily Higgins for me in the flex. That's
yeah. He's been out targeting Jamar Chase over the last 2 weeks, anyways, too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, Chase just gets those big play downfield. You know, he gets the touchdowns. Higgins is very good and super easy to just plug in your lineup and be happy with what you got. So, all right, man. So next up, we're gonna be jumping into kind of our observations. And Mark, we're gonna let you go first, man. What's something you've noticed, or something you noticed last week, or throughout the season that's kind of caught your eye, you know, from a fantasy perspective?
So I'm going to talk about Chase Brown, and I just realized he was one of the questions too. So
oh, you're good.
The trend I've noticed is just his usage is getting better every single week. I think week 1 it was 25%, week 2 was 25%, week 3 was 36.8%, week 4 50%, week 5 was 57.1, and then last week was 62.5. I see that trend going there. I see it being that 60-40, 65-35 split going forward. I mean, Moss isn't going away, so it's not 100% Chase Brown, but he has definitely impressed his coaches, and he's the hot hand right now. So I see them rolling with them. Plus, he's starting to run more routes too. So he's going forward. He's the back I would like in Cincinnati.
Yeah. How much of a I kind of mentioned this. What do you think the workload split gets to? Like I'm still of the belief that they paid Moss not a ton of money, but they did pay him to come in, and you can see from last year, like it feels like the Bengals don't fully trust Brown to be like the guy.
Yeah, you're not wrong in that, and I think he's got to still earn it to a degree. And yeah, you're right with them paying Moss, but honestly, I think they probably weren't expecting to lose Mixon, and I think they just scrambled and was like, okay, who could do what Mixon did on the cheapest dollar? Well, that was Moss. Moss looked really good in Indy last year. You know what I mean? He's really good pass blocker. So I think they were hoping for that, and then he just hasn't been as efficient to start this season. Maybe he bounces back a little bit. I don't know, but I kind of assume it's going to be that 60-40 split going forward. I mean, like I said, Moss isn't going anywhere, so it's still going to be the two of them going forward. But I trust Brown at the moment more than I do Moss. Especially if you drafted both of them, or if you can go get Moss on the cheap right now. I mean, I think that window is kind of closing because this last game he kind of showed what he can do. But I like Chase Brown going forward this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. AJ, what's something that's caught your eye?
I feel like the fall from grace for Etienne. I mean, I know he's been a little banged up and whatnot, but just something is just there's too much talent on this Jacksonville offense to just be this bad of a team. So I don't know if it's Dougie P and his message is just falling off again like it has in past stops. But Etienne, I mean, he still just really hasn't even done much with the opportunity that he had when he was healthy. Week 2 against the Browns was his best week. and he only had 13 attempts rushing. 3 receptions on 4 targets, but he only had 6 yards. So, like, you expect him to be able to be involved in the passing offense and, get out in the flat and kind of do what he did in college with Trevor Lawrence. And obviously, it's Clemson is way different than Jacksonville. But it hurts to see somebody that was, and still is talented, but he's just fallen off so hard. And Bigsby's been good. He's coming on more and more.
Very good.
And then you even have like Dearness Johnson, former Browns running back who had some success there, is bringing that to Jacksonville, and he was kind of the better running back last week, even better than Bigsby. So it'll be interesting to see how this rushing attack, takes the field and takes shape this week against the Patriots. But it's just, it's just hard to have invested such high draft capital in Etienne to just see this abysmal performance.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to the Jets here. And, it was the first game without Robert Saleh there. New play caller. We saw Breece Hall get his highest workload all season, 18 carries. This offense, to where they sputtered in the red zone, was moving the ball a lot better against a fairly decent Bills defense, by the way. So, the biggest thing really, like, 18 carries, awesome. He was on the field for 86% of the team's snaps. Braylon Allen just vanished.
Just completely.
So I don't know if this is the coaching staff being like, we're going to lean on Breece Hall, like they probably should, or what. But that is very telling. I want to see it happen again. And, of course, we're going to be kind of having to watch this offense for the next couple of weeks now that Davante Adams is there, to see how usage and everything is kind of spread out now that they've got 2 really big-time receivers. And you add Breece Hall, like, this is like a superstar, like all-star lineup minus an all-star quarterback still at this age. But it's going to be interesting. But that is a great sign for everybody who invested very heavily in Breece Hall. It has been a very disappointing season. So arrows pointing up, but it was 1 week. So let's hope it continues. But Mark, second thing.
My next one it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and I kind of hinted at it before when we were talking about starting him. Is he hasn't been used in the passing game pretty much at all this year. And that kind of shocked me. I thought he'd be more of a, what Aaron Jones did last year. I figured they would throw to the running back a little bit more. So I got kind of taken back by that. But at the same time, Green Bay has thrown 14 of their 17 touchdowns have all been through the air. So I don't think Jacobs has had the opportunities there. So if you want to talk that positive regression, it should be coming. So I'm going to start leaning on Jacobs, trusting that a little bit more over the next few weeks, that maybe they'll get him. Maybe it should be happening in the run game for him. I know they leaned heavily on him the 2 weeks that Jordan Love was out, but I see that kind of coming back. They're going to get that run game going, and it's going to be colder weather. So I'm looking to trust Jacob. So if you got him and you're kind of sitting there going like, what do I do with him? I'd rather have him than Etienne, but you can trust Jacobs going forward. And I want to give that confidence out to everybody that it's going to start happening. He's going to start putting in those touchdowns on the ground there, and hopefully even through the air too. So that's what I've noticed, is just that passing tack has just been all love. And I think they're going to get back to that run game.
Yeah, I agree. Jacobs has been. I mean, he's been good. It's just the touchdowns just aren't there, which is crazy. So, you love to see the rushing attempts or the rushing yards from him. Just he needs to get in the end zone a few times, and that's where you talk about positive regression. Like it's coming. It's got to be coming for him. It's unreal how unlucky he's been. Speaking of touchdown regression, Javonte Williams having a day, 2 touchdowns, man, 81 yards already. Holy smokes!
Will Lutz also having a day, and I picked him up like everywhere I could just for tonight's game. Going back to New Orleans, place he's familiar with. So yeah, he's been having a crazy. He's already got
4 field goals,
23-40 in Scott Fish. I started him.
Oh my goodness!
Him Javonte with 29-40, and I started Bo Nix, who's only at 15-20. But there's still
Bo Nix has 52 yards rushing or something like that.
Oh,
Bo Nix has 75 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But no touchdowns.
Yeah.
No yards.
Yeah, that's
barely any passing yards. But
anyway,
AJ, what's your next thing,
all right,
man?
So my next thing here is I'm gonna go and talk about the Bears, and this offense is finally clicking. Again, we just had the Jacksonville discussion with Etienne, and yes, I'm sticking with Jacksonville, Mike. But they demolished the Jags last week. But I mean, it's not just this past week. Like I said, they've been playing really well. Caleb Williams is finally kind of getting more comfortable in this offense. He's got
maybe getting back into that rookie of the year race, man.
Yeah, he definitely has been. After weeks 1 and 2, where he had 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, he's got 3 interceptions still over the last 4 weeks, but he's also got 9 touchdowns and a boatload of yards. He's got, he's still, not running a ton, but he's doing enough, and he's getting everybody involved. So I really like where this offense is headed, and just really this division is going to be very interesting down the stretch here for the NFC North. All the teams are playing pretty good football. Minnesota's definitely out of their minds playing well with Darnold. So yet to be determined if that will maintain, but I think this is going to be a really interesting fight between all of these teams. And Chicago hasn't even had any division games yet. So I think if they can maintain and Caleb Williams can continue to progress the way he is, it's going to be mean good things for him.
So I got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys as much as I don't really want to, but it's negatively, at least. So there we go. Somebody please explain to me how after
what do you mean I'm on a radio station? Who the hell is this?
After 2 weeks of Rico Dowdell, actually more than 2 weeks, taking over this backfield and looking pretty good, not awesome, but looking like a usable running back in a week where they are getting absolutely demolished. The Cowboys coaching staff, who gives us the best chance of coming back in this game is Ezekiel Elliott. Say what? He out-snapped Dowdell. He out-carried Dowdell. The only thing Dowdell got was more targets. I'm absolutely speechless. I got nothing.
I don't know.
It literally makes no sense.
I'm right there with you, Joe. Honestly, I think they just need to cut Zeke so that so then they don't. So that Mike McCarthy doesn't go, oh, he's on the roster, we should start him. You know what I mean? If they just cut him,
Jerry Jones in his ear going,
yeah, probably,
yeah.
He is Jerry's boy. So
what do you mean I need a knife? I don't need that. No, I'm not going to cut him.
We all know Dowdle's the guy, and we just we all want to see him be the guy. It's like, let's go. Why is Zeke out there? He's old. He's washed.
I'm hoping that I did a reverse AJ, and I'm speaking this into existence, even though I hate the Cowboys, but I did update the running back depth chart, and I took Zeke out of the RBBC. It's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm tired of you being over here on this starter, thing. You may start the game, but you suck. You don't have anything left in the tank. You need to get some more of your freaking Campbell's soup. Start getting some commercials under your belt, and maybe you'll succeed there, because you're not succeeding on the field. You're a joke. But that's what you get for being from Ohio State.
Yeah, we just took a stab at Cowboys fans and Ohio State fans all the same.
Right.
So, like,
I don't discriminate.
Half of our 100 listeners are left. Jesus. All right. So I say only bring 2, but Mark, have you got anything else, man? You can throw it out there. If not, we can just move on.
Nothing off the top of my head at the moment.
I have one more, but that I thought was sort of interesting. AJ, you got anything else, or you want to talk more about the Jaguars?
No, I think I've hit my Jags quota.
I got one.
You need to start having Jags rants for AJ.
We need a new ticker: Jags versus Eagles. I haven't even talked about the Eagles. That's the first time I've mentioned them tonight. So,
all right, Mark, you said you had something.
Yeah, I got one just popped in my head, just to kind of ease some people, because I know a lot of people are kind of like, "Can you trust Mark Andrews now that he scored his?"
that was sort of
and
like
that's a no. That's a no.
One that I was.
That's a no. No, he got lucky. Everybody's gonna find. What is it? The saying, a broken watch is correct 2 times a day.
Yep.
Hey, he got lucky. He found the end zone. But going forward, he's still just. I mean, if you got nobody else, if you got Ferguson on bye this week and you need a streaming option, okay, pick him up, start him. That's it. But don't trust him going forward. That Ravens offense passing attack, not that it's broken, but it's Henry. It's Lamar and Henry, and I mean, I think the next guy up is Zay Flowers. So I can't trust Andrews. Honestly, I really wish the Ravens would trade Andrews to a team who needs him. Not that I want to see him go there because I'm a Raider fan, but send him to the Chargers. They could use Mark Andrews. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eagles could use him too. Freaking Goddard's hurt again. And it's not like he got the ball that much until everyone else was hurt. So, I mean, it won't be that much different for Andrews.
Yeah, I'm with you. How about that game? Yeah, he was actually like part of the reason that first interception happened. Mark Andrews was bobbled it, and there you go. So,
were you in that end zone when he caught it, or was that in the one in front of my seats?
That was the opposite end zone.
I thought that's what I thought.
So my last one here was the Texans receiving room now that Nico is out. So it was kind of interesting. Like, Hutchinson was sort of a popular pickup. I mean, I picked him up for free in a couple places. I figured, why not? Did absolutely nothing. So time to throw him back. This was Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and shockingly, Dalton Schultz got back in the mix. It wasn't super productive, but hey, in a year where the tight end room is terrible, I am starting a guy who's getting 8 targets. I don't care if he caught 4 for 27. Give me the guy who's getting 8 targets. Volume
targets. They're good targets too. It's not like it's targets from Will Levis.
Yeah. So, like, this for now, it's Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. In fact, I was on Reddit, so I posted my usage article on Reddit. And somebody was asking me, because I had this in the usage article, somebody was asking me or commenting about how, like, yeah, Tank Dell season again, this is going to be great. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, for now. Like, as soon as Nico comes back, Tank Dell is going to probably go back to what he was. So maybe give him another week or 2 of doing this and then sell high.
Yep.
Like that, 100% I would do that. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. And how Tank Dell keeps this role when Nico is back. There's just not enough to go around, especially with Mixon there, who's absolutely dominating that backfield and producing as well. So Tank Dell, as talented as he is, turns into kind of like the Alex Pierce of the Colts, or Alex Pierce of the Texans, right? He's super big play dependent, and he can do it. Maybe a little bit better than Alex Pierce. Maybe the Jameson Williams, just maybe not going to get as many chances, unfortunately. So that was the last one I had. It was something that I noticed here as I was scrolling through my article. But Mark, thank you for coming on, man. This was awesome. Hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, anytime.
Before we let you go, man, let you plug your stuff and let everybody know what you got.
Cool. So where? I got my own website. It's fantasyknockout.com. You can check out my rankings. They're always posted there. I'm also on the Fantasy Pros expert thing, so you can use me on that too if you're sorting through your experts. Appreciate it, Joe. I'd be happy to do this anytime you guys want. This was a lot of fun. Really had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Man. Appreciate you coming on. Good stuff.
Yeah, we got some more guest spots open later this season, so we'll make it happen. This was good.
Yeah, hopefully if I do come next time, I'm going to be higher than you this time, Joe.
Okay,
we got a rivalry.
It's on.
Like it.
Grab my mic like the
commentator,
the MTV the
ding,
MTV
ding, ding.
thing,
the celebrity death match.
Yeah, it's over.
Celebrity rankers match.
All right, man. Well, that's it. Glad to have you on here, and have a good night, man.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you, Mark.
All right. So I'm not totally caught up to the game. I'm sure the Virginia Tech Boston College game is over. I haven't been skipping through as much as I was hoping, but
yeah,
I just saw the Virginia Tech go back up by a couple of touchdowns, dude. It was a brutal third quarter. I don't know if you saw it. Turnovers after turnovers.
What is
happening? 2 turnovers, 2 straight drives. It was terrible.
Games just ended. I mean, they're like walking on the field.
Yeah. So there's 11 minutes left right now, and I'm seeing 35-21 Tech. So hopefully they can hold them off. So again, don't say nothing to anybody. All right, man. That is it for the show. Just if you're still hanging out, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, jump over to Fantasy Six Pack, and become a member. Jump in our Discord, and good luck in Week 7.
All right,
y'all later.
By means.